Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to our grand final review. So, after a cracking season, the Penrith Panthers finally got their revenge after a disappointing loss last year, and they've lifted their Proven Summers trophy. So, joining me as always, I've got Locky and Luke in the seats, and without further ado, let's get into it, boys. What a grand final! I mean, shit, drama, off-field drama, on-field drama. I mean, Penrith probably deserved it. Am I wrong?
On the night, yeah, definitely. I think their performance was amazing. I feel really bad because I was the one who was rooting for the Bunnies, but it came down to just a couple of key moments. I'm sure Cody Walker would have preferred that last pass that Stephen Crichton intercepted. I'm sure he would have loved that moment all over again. But yeah, credit to the Panthers.
You
Credit
can
to the
easily say
Panthers.
that pass lost them the game.
You could.
You can very easily because it did. Because there were that time of the game. I mean, I think what was it? I think they were 2 points up, or was it even? It was close. So it was whatever happened, but that shifted the game, and then that was when Souths were kind of on top. They were rolling through a bit there, and then to come through, and then they've come through, and now they've come through. But I mean, Souths will be back. I'm glad for Penrith. I mean, realistically, it just shows the importance of junior development and keeping guys together. Yeah. But I mean, I'm glad they won. I thought they were the better team on the night. I think they had a better season overall than South. Again, Melbourne realistically were robbed. They were so much better than everyone else that season. And I don't know how. I'm still amazed that they didn't make it. But I mean, they didn't make the game, and you have to play the game on its merits. And Penrith was a better team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and they say you got to lose one to win one, right?
I don't agree with that. I don't like that statement. I don't like
it.
Though.
It's
one of those things where just because you need to lose one to win one doesn't like. I was very surprised with Penrith. Not surprised so much, but I think of it as they had to go the hard way. They had to go the hardest route to get to the grand final. When you look at they got beaten by Melbourne. So got beaten by Bunnies in the first round, then had to verse Melbourne. And,
Parramatta in the middle there as well. That Parramatta.
That's right, Parramatta as well.
Parramatta then Melbourne.
Yeah.
No, we don't count that game. That doesn't matter. They were there for the numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they had a tough run in. I mean, and you could see at the end, Walker was desperately trying to make up for that pass. Like it was almost. He was almost making more mistakes, and the team weren't playing cohesively enough to get a try back. It showed in the end. I mean,
fatigue kicks in, and you try and do anything you can to try and get your team up, and that's what Walker did. He tried to overplay his hand, and then it didn't help when Reynolds had the 2-point field goal option, and his groin injury didn't help in that regard. So
he dropped.
I think they really missed Latrell as well. In those key moments, they really miss Latrell Mitchell.
Yeah,
100%. Because if you look at that, I reckon if you look at the moment again, all the Penrith guys say, Crichton was covering the winger in the centre. He wasn't. He was committed on the winger. If you go short to the centre's through.
Big time. It was just a really poor pass, and it lost them the grand final in the end. I mean, he's got to feel real shit.
I'd hate to be him right now.
Yeah.
It was single-handedly his fault that they lost points. And
he'll be better for that next year, though. I think the hardest part for him next year is going to be taking on that responsibility because they won't have Reynolds.
We're going to get into that later, but he's going to have to step up big time. Because Penrith, if they keep that core next year and they can just keep building on that, they are going to be unstoppable again. They'll be better than Melbourne next year if they can keep that team together. Because I mean, you got Melbourne losing Adokar as well, so it's wide open for them to start to dominate. And I mean, and we're going to touch on it shortly, but Munster having his off-season problems, and then the other guys, and it's not looking good for the Storm next year. Penrith might run away with it.
Well, that'll be interesting because yeah, Penrith were under a lot of pressure. I know I was very critical of them, saying that they just they looked tired and they didn't have enough. But it's actually interesting because if you look at after listening to Ivan Cleary talk, a lot of their players were carrying a lot of injuries that would have probably stopped them from playing. Like Dylan Edwards, he was in a friggin' moon boot leading up to the grand final. Yeah, he even Ivan Cleary said, it was just a credit to the guys that they even played. So that just shows the professionalism from the Penrith Panthers.
Don't know. Don't know if we can call them professionals anymore.
Yeah. They've been in 2 grand finals, so they're obviously doing something right.
Yeah, from a coaching perspective, they're doing something right. And they came out of nowhere, right? Like this happened from nothing. Like you take back 4 years ago, nothing. They were nothing. Struggling.
They sacked Anthony Griffin, and then they were after they sacked Anthony Griffin, they were at the bottom of the ladder with Ivan Cleary in his first year. So, had big accomplishments here and there. But
I don't think he gets enough credit.
Nah.
Personally. But,
I think that's the reason why. It's because those Tigers fans are still salty that he dirtied their club.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, Tigers.
And he did do that. He did do that, though, Ivan.
Yeah, but look where the Tigers are now. So, not going.
Yeah, exactly.
So, do you know why that ended up happening? The Tigers were trying to do that, and then they were going to get Nathan, and then they were going to get both of them, and then
they're trying to get a 2-for-1 deal. Yeah.
I'm not leaving the Panthers, so Ivan had to come back.
Yeah.
No,
would never happen. I actually don't think that spine for the Tigers would have worked for Cleary and Cleary.
Well, because you had Brooks and you had Cleary, so you either put Brooks at number 6.
They would have got rid of Brooks. They would have got rid of Brooks.
Yeah.
They're trying to get rid of him at the moment because they've got Hastings. So now,
I
don't know. He's on good money though, so that's the thing. They can't get rid of him.
They just need a better spine. Who's their fullback now?
Laurie.
Yeah, that's
Laurie.
I don't know who he's supporting though, because there was a photo that was on Facebook of him in the Penrith jersey driving from the game. So I don't know who he's really playing for, who he might be playing for next year. But there's good sign. Yeah.
What a tosser.
It's funny though.
But no, credit where credit's due. Penrith played well. They had a really good season. They did well to beat the Storm. So you can't dismiss anything that they did. I mean, good on them. At the end of the day, good on them.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Storm, though, I mean, shit, they're in some trouble. What do you think, Pierce?
It's interesting because when you think of the Melbourne Storm, you think of such a great winning culture. And you think that how could a great team, such a well-run team like the Melbourne Storm, have these ongoing problems? I think Munster's an absolute goose. There's no way of putting it. He's done some really stupid things over the last 12 months, and I think he's on his last strike with the Melbourne Storm.
Got a little on the nose beers.
Yeah. As for Brandon Smith, he's got to get rid of that shitty mo. But he's one of those players who I could see Munster, I reckon, will probably he'll run this season out, next season out with the Storm. But don't be surprised if he gets approached by Wayne Bennett, who will more than likely be coaching the new franchise in the Redcliffe Dolphins. Yeah. Look, as for Brandon Smith and Chris Lewis, they're 2 players that I know that the Melbourne Storm want to keep. But yeah, it's one of those things, and I feel like they've been let off really lightly with their punishment. 1 game match, $10,000 suspended fine, and I think they have to undertake some kind of
drug course or whatever.
Rehab or something. Yeah.
When you compare that to the Dragons, who had a similar kind of thing, sorry to bring that up, Luke, but a similar kind of thing, and they had like 4 games suspension for about nearly half the team. So yeah, I do really think the NRL needs to look at that and try and this is the whole thing about reviewing stuff like this, because it's not fair to other teams who have been lashed with more severe fines.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair. I think the Melbourne Storm themselves let the boys off pretty easily as well.
Yeah.
Like it was basically just a slap on the wrist.
100% it was. I mean, realistically, you compare it to the Dragons. The Dragons might have breached the public health order, but this is an illegal drug. I mean, this is a completely different extent. But the thing about it is, as I've always said, there's in all sports there's double standards. I mean, Anthony, go back to the Premier League. I mean, what Manchester United and Chelsea and all those guys can get away with isn't what the same as Brentford and Crystal Palace get away with.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a double standard that if you're a good team and you've had success, you can get away with a lot more with the management of the game. And that's just how sport works. Whether it's right, it's not, but it's not going to change because every sport today, in American sports, it's even worse.
Oh, big time. I mean, look at, you brought up American sports. I'm a huge fan of him, but look at Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. They got away with cheating a couple times.
In a Super Bowl, yeah.
Then they've been caught cheating a couple of times, and it was a slap on the wrist. Like what Brady, I think, had a 4-game suspension, but it didn't come till the start of the next season. Like, oh, okay, yeah, those 4.
Just the classic Melbourne getting away with something else. That's the way I look at it. But the other thing that I don't understand is they didn't even, like, Justin Rotsky, the CEO, didn't even confirm what it was. And when he got asked, was it sugar or candy, he didn't know. He had no clear information about what that substance was. So I feel like
they were baiting him a little bit. They were baiting him a little bit.
They were baiting him.
Oh, it was hilarious.
Still, we've had 2 guys that have dealt with that cocaine issues over the off season, and we've had, Reece Walsh, who dealt with it in a completely professional manner, and no one's talking about it because that's how, as a club, you address it. And then you've got the Melbourne that's still going on. We're talking about the CEO not addressing it. We're talking about the fines not being adequate, and it's just compare the pair. I mean, it's just if there's any way to learn, the Warriors thing happened first, so clubs should have known, but Melbourne just haven't taken. I am surprised that Melbourne and all those. What you say? Imagine what Bellamy would have said to those players.
He would have been embarrassed. He would have been so embarrassed.
Yeah, he would have ripped in. I mean, he rips in when they do something good.
He rips in when they win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be easy. I think they'll be on their last. That's their last chance for sure. Like if they pull something like that again, they're not in the team.
Well, for Munster, because Munster's done some stuff in the past as well.
Yeah, for Munster especially.
But Munster's done stuff for years. He's
But I mean, you've got a good point. I don't think you got a good point, Locky. I think when Melbourne have the chance to offload him, whether it be the new Queensland side or whoever, I think they'd take it now.
Oh, absolutely.
Like he's a huge part of their core, but I think they get rid of him now.
It's but the other thing Storm got to consider, who would replace him? That's the thing. He's him and
with that kind of money, you can go out and buy whoever you want.
I was just going to say, and I think that the attraction to play with the Melbourne Storm and under Craig Bellamy.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if they buy someone like Corey Norman. I think the best thing for Corey Norman, would be to get out of Sydney, get him into somewhere like Melbourne, get under that Craig Bellamy coaching, and I think we'll see the better player of Corey Norman, but that is in the consideration that they do get rid of Munster, which it feels like that's the way it's going.
It's just it's not if, it's when now. I don't think they'll extend his contract at all.
No.
I can't see that happening. So, which is a shame because he's genuinely a top class talent, and he'll have to either go, as I said, to that new team, or he'll end up somewhere like the Doggies or West or somewhere where his career's just going.
The Doggies don't have any more money left in the cap, mate.
Not now. I mean, in a few years. I mean, you got to think if he doesn't go to that new Queensland team, he's going to go somewhere to rot. I think.
Yeah.
He'll finish those playing days, and that'll be it for him.
You got to imagine that. I mean, if he's doing this much with discipline stuff with Melbourne, what's he going to do at a lesser club?
What's he going to do?
Melbourne can't keep him in line. That's what I mean. If Melbourne can't keep him in line, what chance does anyone else have?
That's true. I mean, you push him out to West Sydney, and he's gonna get it offered every training session. But Or Canterbury's probably worse. But, I mean, more power to him. But he can do whatever he wants to do. He just, I think he knows he fucked up. But, I mean, in terms of other teams fucking up, I mean, the Bunnies are pretty, I think the Bunnies are pretty screwed now. I mean, they've lost what? They lost Benji, who, again, granted, bench player, but he's that super sub, right? He's exactly what the Bunnies needed coming off the bench. They lost Wayne Bennett, arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time, if not the greatest. They lost Reynolds to the Broncos. I mean, how do they rebuild?
Okay, I'll go first. I think basically, a couple of other players you missed was loss of Dane Gagai
as well,
Jaden Sewer. So they're losing a lot of depth. And I don't think, from memory, I can't think of anyone that they've signed. I know they've got a lot of they've got a lot of belief in a lot of their juniors. So players like Blake Taff, Lachlan Elias. And they've got a very, like Penrith, they've got a very good junior program. But I don't see where they're going, where to go forward. I know they signed Milford, but then Milford had a really bad, a couple of assault charges against him, so I don't know where that's going. But yeah, I don't know where they go from here. I'm worried for them. I know that they've got obviously Jason Demetrio, who's going to come in as their coach, but he's only ever been an assistant coach under Wayne. Granted, he's been watching and has been learning off him, but yeah, I'm really worried for the Bunnies. I feel like they'll still be around that top 8, but they won't be as close as they were this year. I don't know where they go from here.
I can't see them. I mean, Latrell Mitchell is probably one of the best players in the league. I hate him. He's one of the best players in the league, though, and you can't deny that. But if he keeps going the way he's going, he's not going to be at South much longer either.
No, he's got a chip on his shoulder, very much like Munster.
Yeah. I'd say worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Worse.
I mean, Luke, what do you reckon? How's next year going to go for him?
I reckon South. I mean, you guys are sleeping on Demetrio. I mean, the guy's won multiple comps with multiple teams. He's been an assistant for years, and he's an NRL coach. There's no doubt about it. But I think the big thing is when you look at Milford, I think Milford takes that Benji spot, that 14 on the bench. I think the big thing is for them, who do you put? He plays his best is on that left-hand side as a runner. And he's saying, I'll do, more Reynolds, I'll organise, I'll get my hand on the ball more. But the thing is, that's not what's made Walker one of the best players in the league. And I hate Walker as well. But there's no doubt denying the talent and the way he played. But I think you've got to find that fit, and whether that's Taff or Ilias or whoever else, but you've got to find someone that plays a similar role to Reynolds to complement Walker. And I think Locky said it well when he was talking about the losses of Sewer and the losses of Dane Gagai, big losses as well. I mean, they're origin players. So again, I don't know who's in their system. They've obviously got good juniors, but they're losing a lot of experience. They're losing guys that are NRL ready. So South, they will compete, but like I said, I think they will take a dip. But yeah, they've lost a lot of key players and in coaching departments in multiple positions as well.
Yeah, I think Gagai's a huge loss actually. I think Gagai is nearly as important to South than Gagai is interesting, right? Because he's versatile, right? He can play on the wing, he can play in the centres. He's big enough he could play in the second row if he wanted to. But he's really versatile, right? And they're going to miss that experience more than anything. Like, again, you've got Australian player, Queensland player, and you lose that. And then you kind of look to your other big boys. Cody Walker's just lost you a grand final. Sure. Latrell Mitchell can't keep his head on for more than 20 minutes. Sure.
That's being nice.
20 minutes has been nice, yeah. I mean, I struggle. I actually can't see them in the top 8 next year. I think I see them.
They also lost Braden Burns to the Doggies. So I don't know who's going to play in that left centre. Interesting to see.
They need to make a lot of signings, or as you said, they're going to have to invest heavily in their youth and just trust it. and trust the system for a year and maybe finish outside the top 8, maybe 10 or 11.
And can Jason Demetrio sign players? Do people want to play under him? That's the real question for Souths.
I think they would have if they still had the likes of Benji and Reynolds and Gagai. Now I think they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle to bring in more people because their whole spine pretty much didn't play, won't be there. So you can't say, this is a grand final team, right? Because it's like half a grand final team now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could be very wrong. They could have a great year. New Magic Complex. I mean, you go, well, all right, he's a new guy. Let's comb some slack. Let's win a few games for him. And yeah, I mean, only time will tell, really. I don't have much faith in that system at all anymore. But anyway, we'll see what happens, right? Last thing I want to get into with you today, boys, is the Penrith's ego getting the best of them. I mean, we look at so granted they just won their grand final, they missed out the year before, but you see this whole thing with the Proven Summons Trophy, and you see the disrespect that was kind of presented. I mean, I know you had some thoughts on it, Locky.
When I first read it, I didn't think too much into it, and then I kind of looked at some of the photos of how badly damaged it was. Over the years, the Private Summers Trophy has kind of gone through a couple of things, but never to the extent that it has during this premiership. I'm with Penrith. They come across as a very arrogant team to me, and that's because they're young. With younger players, you're always going to have guys doing ridiculous things, as we were talking about with the Storm players. But I think this is just an utter, completely stupid thing. But it's not the first time that they've. But the thing about Penrith is you don't hear about them in the news. Getting into fights or abusing their partners or stuff like that. So I got to give them the benefit of the doubt here that they'll definitely learn from it. I know club legend Brendan Alexander was not happy. He was definitely not happy, and that if you get on Brendan's bad side, then that you've really got to have a good look at yourself and fix what you did. But look, it's a mistake they made, and I'm sure that they're very apologetic about it. I know the coach wasn't really happy about it, but
no, I mean, it wasn't just that they made the mistake, right? Fair enough, shit gets broken, you're having a party, whatever, right? It's the fact that it was broken into, and then they put the shell in a pram.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? You break it, fair enough. Shit happens.
I mean, up to it.
To then proceed to disrespect it, and it's like it's the symbol of the NRL. It's everywhere. That is the NRL, right? You play for that. That's the only reason you're playing the game is to play for that trophy. And if you don't have the mentality, then you're playing for the wrong reasons. And they've just completely.
See, this is the thing though. The NRL, because this season's finished, they can't do anything about it. I do feel like the NRL need to come out and make a statement and say that this is not on. Especially with the things that happened with Melbourne, that was in the off season technically. So
there needs to be some harsh reprimands for this, I think.
Of course it does.
But
of course
I
it
don't
does,
think
because this is the end of the day. It won't happen because it's Penrith. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, realistically, Anthony, you hit it with the disrespect. I mean, it's not breaking a trophy. I mean, Sergio Ramos broke the Champions League trophy.
True. People drop.
I mean, it does happen. Like, things do happen, but the reality of it is, like, you've just got to own it, and that was, I think it was Nathan Cleary's sister dropped it on the dance floor or something with their story. So again, how true that is, no one knows because no one was there. But also, just with Penrith and their arrogance, I think, did everyone see the video of Kickout singing the South City song? I think ignite a bit of fuel for the game next year, which might be a good laugh at the start. So that might be all right.
Yeah, I mean, look, there were arguments that they shouldn't be handing out the real trophy to the teams, and they should just be giving them a replica to play, have their fun with, and then lock up the Providence Summons trophy. Again,
that's a bit extreme.
You've won the real thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. You've won the real thing. You deserve it. So that's not really an argument, Like, you deserve to have that trophy. You may as well have fun with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just it really, really rubs me the wrong way. It really does. Because you can only credit your whole livelihood to the NRL, right? And it's like burning your house because you're not happy with it anymore. Burning your house because it's painted the wrong color.
There's been stuff up for along the years. It's not the first time this has happened.
No, it's not.
But it's not a good
respect that they showed afterwards.
It's not good. It's not a good representation of the club.
The club,
I know
the players, it's not a good representation for the NRL as a whole.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, boys will be boys, right?
They sure will.
Boys will be boys. Anyway, guys, has anybody got any last comments about the season, real quick?
No need to blow up the bunker.
Hope next season's better and it's more even, to be honest. And I think it will be. But I just hope that the Bulldogs will improve. I hope the Tigers improve. I hope the Broncos improve. I hope the Dragons improve. Just those lesser teams just need to rise up.
Yeah, we need some more competitiveness. It'll come. It'll come. All right, boys. And you said blow up the bunker.
Yeah, blow up the bunker.
Okay. Why not?
I think it's simple. I think it's a very simple idea. I just do feel like the referee doesn't know what he's doing anymore because there is so much interference.
Yeah.
We went from a two referee system to, going back to a one referee. And now we've technically got two referees because you got one idiot talking to him in his earpiece. Yeah. And then, I think we just need a complete reset, put in new software, review the whole thing, and just get a bit more of a clearer understanding of letting the referees have a feel for the game. And I reckon we'll be fine.
Well said, mate. Well said. All right, boys. Well, thank you for joining us. I'm sure I'll see you shortly for a couple specific team reviews. Be sure to check out that on the channel shortly. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share it around to everybody. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and one of us can answer. But we've been Secure the Bag. Thank you for watching our OT. Catch ya.